All right, here we go again with an amazing interview. I'm Jack Tristao, and I'm here with a special guest. This is actually the missing piece of this whole structure that we've been learning lately. So, we all know that we have the three steps to acquire some new clients, understand your brand, find your ideal client, connect with your audience, and then convert them into paying clients. And this connection bit here is it can be a bit complicated. So sometimes we don't know exactly how to present ourselves and how to connect with our audience. And we've been doing that lately, obviously, through videos. We can connect in person in live, which is amazing. We have that vibe with that energy. But since we're doing a lot of our connections online, we are connecting through videos. And I thought that maybe I could invite my dear friend Junaid Ahmed here to talk about that very topic because he's a genius. He knows a lot about that. He's the expert. And I just thought of him, asked him, and I'm glad he said yes. So thank you so much for accepting my invitation, Junaid. Welcome
Thank you,
to
Jack.
my screen here and welcome. Thank you. How are you
Thank you, Jack.
today?
I really appreciate it. I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Junaid, we want to know a little bit about yourself. Can you tell us where you came from? How do you
Sure.
became the expert that you are today? I know some people don't like that word, X factor. It's been overused, but when you are one, then you might as well just recognize that. Tell us
Right.
about yourself. Thank you.
Sweet. So my name is Junaid, and I've got over a decade of experience in video production, content creation, and design. I started with web development and web design and desktop publication, but I always had a passion for video and shooting photos and whatnot from a very young age. Now, for the
Mm.
past decade, I've been working on a variety of short films, 10-hour films, documentaries, behind the scenes videos for TV series, and creating video courses. And it's been so fulfilling that it's just mind blowing how beautiful it is when because I love to help others navigate the technical world, and I'm here to help you. Thanks to Jack.
Oh, amazing. That's awesome. And speaking of technical world, that is indeed one of the struggles. I know that some of my clients, my students and viewers, people watching us now, they have that fear of technology because they don't know if they're going to be able to understand the process, the steps that they have to take in order to
Yeah.
put up a good video and then and post it and then keep a certain consistency, which is
Mm-hmm.
another terrifying word because
Yes.
people say that, or I say that all the time, and people tell me that all the time. So I've been learning that, and then they pass it along, and it's
Mm-hmm.
consistency. You gotta be present. You gotta be showing up. Like now, we're showing up. This video is
Yeah,
happening.
exactly.
Yeah, so you gotta be out there. And fearing the consistency, they are a bit afraid of maybe I don't I will face some trouble, some problems, some technical problems, so they don't even try, and so they
Yeah.
blame some external event like, oh, it's not my moment, this is not for me. And it is. It's just that we
It's
need to
it's your
learn.
moment now.
Yeah, it is your moment, and you have to learn a little bit about what you can do, and we all can do that. And Junaid, my first question, obviously you probably know this because it's the most obvious one. What is the first step for someone who's trying to record videos and post videos and enter that consistency journey and then
Mm-hmm.
start recording videos, like appropriate videos, nice looking videos? What would be the recommendation for someone who's starting out?
Well, Jack, that's an excellent question, and let me back up just a little bit because even though I mentioned that I've been recording video content and doing short films and documentaries, I didn't say that I was in front of the camera. I was always behind the camera. I was the operator, right? I was behind the
Right,
camera
right,
operating
right,
the
right.
technology. I didn't know how to talk in front of the camera. In 2018, I was asked to do a presentation on how you can use the smartphone to record excellent content. So I wrote an ebook called mobile video production using your smartphone, and gave a presentation. But when I wanted to record a video course around it, it took me about 2 hours. I fumbled around, I put cameras and lights and everything. I staged the whole place together in my basement. But when I stood in front of the camera and I hit record, I couldn't get a word out.
Yeah, you froze.
I didn't know. I froze. I didn't know what to say. And then my kids walked in. It's like, Dad, we're hungry. Can you feed us? Right? It's like, okay, okay, fine. So I stopped. He's like, stop playing games. So I turn everything off and I go. And that triggered in my mind, to be able to create content, you got to first be comfortable in your own skin,
Mm,
right? Nobody can get up and do a marathon without the exercise, without the practice, without training themselves. So what did I do? Um, with COVID, we got to spend a lot of time in front of our computers and Zoom calls and just like this,
right.
and
Yes.
that helped me get over the fear of speaking. Get that helped me to tell my story. Before that, I was also uh, doing my own podcast and bringing a lot of guests on the podcast, and I was listening to their stories. That started clicking in my brain. Oh, this is how you tell a story. This is how you come along. So I'm going to talk about 5 tips to a remarkable video. So what are these
Oh,
5 tips?
okay.
Well, the number one thing that you want is a captivating story. Now, Jack,
Mm,
you and I, we all know, every single one of us that's here watching this video, we all have a captivating story. We all have a story
yes.
that relates. It's a story that shows transformation, right? This was
Mm-hmm.
my transformation, being able to create a studio so my video looks top notch. But if you
It
looked at
does.
my video in 2019, it's like it was like anybody else, right? So I can show that transformation by just showing you, hey, this is what I was before, this is where I am now, right? So a
Mm-hmm.
story that shows you, hey, I'm relatable. I went through this transformation because all of those things. What's that gonna do? That is going to build authority and
Mm-hmm.
credibility because they see,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this guy was here, now he's here, he
They can
clearly
see
knows what he's talking about, right?
they see the
They see the
path that you
entire
walked.
journey. Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
see
The
the whole
journey.
journey, right? So once you have that captivating story, and the funny thing is, we all have a story. It just
Mm-hmm.
takes us a little while. It just takes a spark to get that engine rolling. And where do we get the spark from? When we talk to other people, other survivors, or other people that have gone through the same journey, we could then get an idea. And that's why we like to listen to podcasts, we like to watch movies, because there's so many captivating stories in these movies, and you're going with the journey, the hero's journey, right? So
Mm-hmm.
having a captivating story is the number one thing that I talk about. Forget all the equipment, because you can spend 10,000, 20,000, $50,000 on gear,
Mm.
but if you stand there frozen, it's
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah.
Right? So stand in front of the mirror, tell your story. Write it down if you have to. Write down, journaling, talking yourself in the car. And guess what? That's what I did for 1 year. I talked to myself, recording my podcast about beekeeping while I was driving back and forth to work in my car.
That's so
Because
amazing. Yeah.
right, so yeah, so that's the first thing. Forget about equipment.
It's
Find your
interesting
story.
that you saying that because it is one thing that I teach my students, the storytelling bit. And I was just talking to a client this week
Mm-hmm.
about stories, and because he wanted to create an inventory of stories, he knows
Yeah.
what I do, and he wanted
Yeah.
to be good at pulling one story out when he needs one. and
Yes.
and then I told him, yes, you can do that. That's one thing we do. But the most interesting part of it all, the whole process, is that when you start telling stories, like you just said, in front of a mirror, repeat that story, tell another story, tell personal stories. how
Yeah.
you've come to become who you are. And once you start doing that with repetition, you become good at telling stories and seeing stories everywhere.
Exactly.
So you see something happening right in front of you, like you see a bird flight, and then you admire that. You can tell a story about that, and then a lesson
Hmm.
that you've learned from that bird just flying from one branch to the other. It's like, oh, that was a journey, and then you can use analogies, and that's it's super interesting you mentioned that because
Yeah.
I was like, is he going to talk about stories? I think it's going to be. Please do say sorry because I know it's a thing that I believe so much in,
It
and then you say that and you the man, and I'm like, okay, thank God
is.
I'm in the right way. I'm in the right direction.
And Jack, what's funny is that when we listen to Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Pat Flynn, all of these folks that we listen to, they tell really good stories.
Mm,
Malcolm Gladwell, I just finished watching Daniel Pink's Sales and Persuasion Masterclass, and he's just telling stories
just
from the
stories.
beginning to the end. It's all stories, and in these
Oh, stories.
stories, there's so many lessons that you take away, and you're like, oh, that's how it works.
I
So
remember when I was reading Tim uh what was his name? Tim. Oh, I forgot his last name.
Tim Allen.
No, the 4 to 6 hour week work.
Oh, Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss. His book. There's a chapter about storytelling, I think, in his book,
Hmm.
and he talks about that. I remember that he asked the question, "What is the most read book in the world? What's the number one book? So number one sold or read?" And I don't know. He said, "Well, it's the Bible." Okay.
It's the
Oh
Bible,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I get it. And then he says, "Okay." So they did an experiment with some Bible readers. They asked them if they knew about the Ten Commandments, all of them, and like a small percentage of the readers
Hmm.
were able to talk about all the Ten Commandments,
Yeah.
and then they asked the same people a different question: if they knew who Moses was and what he did,
Hmm.
and they were all able to tell and talk about the
Everybody knew.
story. Everybody knew. And then
Hmm.
he brings it back to the story bit. So what was the difference? Because when you tell someone something that they have to do, they don't absorb it because
Right.
there's no connection there. It's just
There's no,
something out of
yeah.
the thin air, and they build a resistance because now it's someone telling me what I have to do. Who are you
Right.
to tell me what I have to do? And then after that, they asked about Moses, and they all knew Moses because of the
Hmm.
story that
The
was
story.
told in the book, in the Bible. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful analogy. And I've been using that, not stealing, because I'm mentioning the source.
Yeah, you're
So
mentioning the source. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. That's
yeah.
beautiful. So now that you've got the captivating story down, that's number one. The second thing that you want to do is intentional lighting. So what do I mean by
Mm.
intentional lighting, right? So be aware of the light and where it falls in your room. So if you're in a room, you're outside, look where the sun is. You don't want the sun to be shining in the camera, just like you don't want to be looking at the sun, your eyes are like, "Oh, I can't see." The camera lens is designed exactly, like the eye.
Oh,
So be
okay.
aware of where the light's falling, right? So there's an iris in the camera lens. There's an iris that opens and closes similar to our eye. The sensor and the back of it is similar to our. I don't even know the terminologies of all the eye, but it's similar, right?
Right.
And so you want to be aware of where the light's falling. Can it be seen by the camera? And
Mm.
can the camera see you clearly? So if you notice, I've got a ton of lights in here, but none of them are shining directly into the camera because that would defeat the purpose. You want the light to shine on the talent. Well, who's the talent? You're the talent because you're on the camera, right? We're the talent, right?
Or
So,
you are the talent. I
yeah,
am the listener
we're all the
today.
talent, right?
Yeah.
So, you want to make sure that you have intentional lighting. So, if you have a large window, put a little curtain in front of it, a white sheet that's going to soften the light. If you notice, there's shadows under my chin. but it's really soft because the
Mm.
way I have the light set up, I've got multiple layers of diffusion on it. So then it's not harsh shadow. It's not affecting me. So
So for those of us who don't know what a diffuser, I kind of know, but maybe someone
sure.
might not know what is a diffuser, and what is the purpose of it?
So when I mentioned a white sheet, so in your background, I see the window and the curtain in front of it. And you'll see
Yeah.
how the light is being diffused. Exactly. So the light is being diffused and it's coming in very diffused, very soft, because
Mm,
that's what makes you look really clean. So
okay.
you want soft in the light so you can sit in front of a window and use that as a light source if you don't want to spend the money on the budget.
Okay. Okay. So you
And
use the
then
curtain as a diffuser
yes,
so that the light doesn't
it's
isn't
not
too
too sharp.
strong, too sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Not too bright.
yeah. Right. Because what do we do when we go outside? If there's a sun is shining, try to find shade. Right? You
Mm,
want to find shade, and you're standing in shade because you don't want to be affected. The camera and the eyes want to do the same thing. They want some kind of shade, and that's one of the reasons we wear sunglasses because it's too
mm-hmm.
much exposure, too much light. So everything in moderation is what we want to focus on. So captivating
Okay.
story, intentional lighting.
Right. Amazing. Okay. Got both. Okay.
Awesome. So the third one is more important than the camera or the
Mm.
lighting. Why? Because as human beings, we grew up, like even when we're in the womb, we pay attention to sound, right? We taught you,
Ah.
right? You pay attention to sound. There's no dark, there's no light, there's nothing in there. But you can talk to your unborn kid or whatever through the stomach or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why audio is so important. That's the first thing that you hear when a baby's born is them crying. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to have excellent audio when you're addressing your audience, when you're talking to your people, when you're talking to your friends, your family. If they can hear you properly, even if they can't see you, if they can hear you properly, they can listen to the message. That's why podcasts are so hot right now. I
Popular.
mean,
Yes.
just in the past 2 years, we have over 1.5 million brand new podcasts, and there's new
Wow.
ones getting added every single day. It's
I
amazing.
did not know that number. That's pretty impressive. Wow.
Yes, sir. I just found out there's a new podcast that there's a new show on Apple TV Plus with Jon Stewart. The Trouble with Jon Stewart, and he's got a podcast
Oh,
associated with this show. So all new
okay.
shows that are coming on, they have associated podcasts. So
So you can
once you're
listen
done
to it.
watching the show, you can
You can
listen
listen
to
to
it. Not the
as
show,
a
but behind the scenes. So you can have the behind the scene conversation. They have other related conversations on the podcast. So it's really, really powerful that they can hear you.
so
Alexa,
what's
Siri.
what I get that, and it's awesome. Sound, that's super important.
Mm-hmm.
People forget about the sound. They keep themselves busy fixing the picture,
Yeah,
and they forget about the sound. What
right.
is, maybe if you could enlighten us, what would be the mistake that people make about the sound? What's the common mistake, like to
Sure,
use?
sure. So
Okay, and
absolutely,
how to fix it?
I'll get right into it. So with high quality audio, the other thing sound does is, for example, Alexa, Siri, the entire communications industry, the telephone is all based on sound, right? So you want to be
Mm-hmm.
able, you want to be, you want to make sure that your audio is clean, it's understandable, and when you have high quality audio, it also makes you sound smarter.
Ah, okay. I
People
like
rated
that.
physicists talk as 19.3% better when they listened to it in high quality versus low audio quality. And they also thought that he was smarter and liked him more. So when you have good audio, people like you more, they want to listen to you more. Because okay, if there's audio and it sounds like it's coming from the radio or it's coming from a speakerphone, there's a lot of echo in the audio. You don't want to
Right.
listen to that because it doesn't feel good, right? So how do you
Yeah.
fix bad audio? Make sure that you have plenty of things in your room, like a carpet, curtains, um, pictures, and stuff on the wall. That helps break up the sound and not bounce back and come back to the microphone. Having
Okay.
a microphone close to the source. So if you have a lap mic or if you have one of those headset that comes with the Apple, all our devices,
Mm-hmm.
that brings the audio, the microphone source close to your mouth. So that is what you want to, focus on and bring together.
Is it important? I have a question
Mm-hmm.
about the sound. When you're recording a video using your phone, I noticed that some people want to be distant. They want to distance themselves from the camera to capture a wider angle, like
Yeah.
a bigger frame. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
want to, like
They want to do
sometimes
the
when I
landscape. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes I teach. I use like a flipboard. It was just
Mm-hmm.
here removed just this morning,
Sure.
and and
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to be a bit further back
Right. So,
to teach so people can watch what I'm writing.
right.
And so some people the sound is different when you're close to the phone and when
Yeah.
you further back. And I see people forgetting about that, and they talk to
Right.
the cameraman if there's someone holding the camera, or maybe they're on a
Right.
tripod, as if it was just the same thing.
Right.
And then I think you can hear more the echo if there's any, rather
Right.
than when you close to the camera.
Right.
And some people don't want to be too close because they don't want people to see like
All the pores in their face.
yeah, exactly, all the marks and wrinkles and
But that
yeah.
what's funny is that I was watching my friend RK3 talk about this yesterday on his stream, and he's talking about when he first started talking and recording videos or recording audio, he didn't want to hear himself. Like he would record the audio in the booth, and then the audio engineer is like, "Okay, let's take a listen." He's like, "No, no, no, I don't want to listen." It's like, why? It's like I don't like how I sound. It's like, let me break
Self-conscious
this
about
down
his
to you.
voice.
Yes, but he's like, let me tell you this: how you sound on there, we've been hearing the same version of you
All our
this whole
lives.
time, all our lives, exactly, right? So it might sound different to you because you're listening to yourself, but over time, you listen to the same voice that other people hear because now
Mm,
you're accustomed to it. I mean, I didn't like my own sound either. When
so
I
good.
was when I was a singer back in the day, I was like, I don't want to hear myself.
You
But
were a
then over
singer.
time, I was a singer in a band like
Oh
20
my
years
God.
ago.
Oh, that's super cool. Oh, look at that. See, this has been fun because now I'm finding out some interesting traits about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's super nice. I sing too.
Yes.
Well,
Nice. That's
I
awesome.
did the professionally like decades ago. Well, not yeah,
Nice.
maybe. But it's just yeah, I do it for
Yeah.
fun and I love singing. Yeah.
It was
Oh, it's
just the
super
fun,
nice.
right?
Yeah. And I
I
didn't like
could.
to hear myself singing either. I was always this is not the right key, not the right key, not the right key.
Right. Right.
Horrible. So I don't want to do that anymore. But you're
Right.
right. It's what people listen to, have been listening.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So having good audio. So how do you solve how do you solve that problem when you're far away and you want to be drawing things on the board? Well, the first thing is you can always get a live mic. There's the Rode, the wireless microphones, which is basically the square item that you can attach to your body, and the other piece connects to your computer. So now you have clean audio coming from you to wherever you are. It's coming clear. The number two thing that you can do is write on your screen. What are you saying, Junaid? What do you mean write on your screen? So there are software we have iPads with pencils that you can write on and bring that directly into your stream so
Okay.
that all the diagramming that you're doing is done directly on the screen and you have a recording for it as well. People can see clearly because sometimes when you're on the whiteboard farther away, they can see you drawing stuff, but it's sometimes it's not as clean or crisp that you can
Oh,
reuse.
okay, that's great. Okay, so you mean like an iPad or tablet?
Yes. Yes. So, for example, on my iPad, I can load up an app called. There's several different apps, right? So you can bring in the app on. If I can just bring this thing together, and I don't want it to take too much time,
No, it's
but
okay.
basically
Valuable information, so more than
load
welcome.
this up quickly. Let's see. So I know Chris has. I don't know if Chris has done, but I know I've seen other people do this before.
Right. You connect your iPad to the call, and
Yes.
then you kind of
Then
you,
you
you
can
keep
write on it.
streaming. Yeah, I've seen that, but no idea how they do it. And
Yep. So there's several different ways I can stream it out to you through my camera, or I can stream it with an overlay, and I don't have everything set up
no, it's okay.
um,
Don't worry. Don't worry.
correctly. But yeah, so that's another solution that could be right. So either bring in an external audio source or a lap mic, or draw stuff so it's directly on the screen and it's recorded on Zoom.
That's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. Uh,
All right.
because the thing is, if you don't mention the importance of audio in general, some people might say, well, that's obvious, and it isn't. It's not obvious until it's said, and if it
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been said, it remains not obvious.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
obvious if it remains unsaid. That's the saying.
Exactly.
And so I see some people recording videos and writing on a board, and they turn around to write,
Yeah.
and then you
You
can't hear
there's
what they're saying
you can't
because
hear
they're
them. Yeah.
speaking towards the
Speaking away.
board.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they change directions facing the camera
Right.
again, and then you start hearing them again, but they have no idea they're doing that, and that's a super important thing for us to
Yeah.
learn. So great
Awesome.
tip. Mm-hmm.
So we talked about captivating story, talked about having an intentional lighting, excellent audio, and then the number four thing is having a decent camera. We all have cameras. We got
Okay.
smartphones, we got DSLRs, mirrorless webcams. They all do the job. They all get you from one level to the next level. When I started, I was just using my webcam. Then I was like, oh, maybe I can use my smartphone. Oh, maybe I can use DSLR. So based on how comfortable you are,
For those of us who don't know, I do, but some of my viewers don't. What is a DSLR? I know
a
you
DSLR is a digital single lens reflector. So the reason it says is because there's a little mirror inside that's reflecting the image that's coming from the lens. The mirror reflects it up, and then there's a Pentex box over there, and then you can see it in the viewfinder. But now we
oh my
have
god, that was too much. Too much.
right, but
Yeah,
now you have mirrorless
went over my head.
cameras.
But in
Right,
other words, it's the big bulky camera
it's
that
a big bulky camera.
the
Here's
professionals
here's the
hold.
difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's the difference? Where's my little notepads? So the difference is, yeah, this is the size of sensor that's on these DSLRs.
Oh, never seen one.
This is the size of sensor that's on smaller DSLRs or smaller cameras, point and shoot.
Uh-huh.
So you might be imagining how small of a sensor do I have on my webcam? Well, it's
Probably
probably
minuscule.
smaller than this little guy. It's
Jesus.
really tiny, right?
Wow.
So when you have a larger lens, you have this bokeh effect. Everything behind you is blurry. It's because
Mm.
it's farther away. It's a larger lens. So
Is that the one
that's
you're
where
using right now to
that's
blur
what I'm
your
using.
background?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, okay. Because it looks super
So I've
neat.
got multiple camera
Oh, look
angles,
at
right?
that. I
So
love it. I love
I
it
can
when you do it.
I can change the focal lens on this lens and come closer, right? So I can just reach out the camera and then
Ah,
say, "Hey,
okay. You
I
zoom
want to
in.
be closer." So that's the functionality of the lens. and then it does a separation. So
That's super
again,
cool.
exercise, get better at talking to the camera. Then you, when you start seeing the value of when you're putting the content out, like, okay, now I want to get to that next level because
Mhm.
I'm comfortable, I can do this. Let's get to the next level. And
Right.
then what's happening when you're getting to the next level? It's almost like, hey, I'm showing up on my in my. Here's what I say, right? When you have a nice studio, it's almost like you're owning a nice Italian suit.
Mm.
You put on that suit, you go to the parties, you go to the events, you feel good, right? It builds up your confidence. So when your video looks clean and sharp, it builds your confidence. And that's what I noticed. When my video was on the webcam, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll turn a webcam on. And I
Mhm.
was talking. But then when my videos started, level started going up, I started building more confidence. People start complimenting, like, "Oh my god, your video is so good." More boost, right? More energy, more,
Right.
and that's what I want to get my friends and my clients
It makes total
to
sense.
that confidence, right?
Total sense.
And
I
the last point, and I do have a few minutes to jump off. The
right.
last thing that I want to talk about is personalizing your background.
Oh, okay.
Because so in your background I've noticed there's a tripod over there. Is that a guitar over there?
Yeah, there's a tripod there.
Right, there's a tripod, there's a little music station. So
Yeah.
that's kind of telling me, okay, you love music. It tells me your personality.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a Zoom call earlier, and this gentleman had an RC plane hanging in his background. And then we started having a conversation about this RC plane. He's like, "Yeah, man, these brand new things, they can fly at 100 miles an hour. I'm not there yet."
Oh my God.
But I was like, "Holy smoke, seriously?" So now we have something to talk
A
about. We
connection.
have a common goal that we can talk about. And
Mm.
that's why sports is so relevant in all over the US, because people can talk about sports, because I don't talk about sports because I talk about technology. So I
Right.
can make really good conversation with other people that are doing talking about technology, or other people that are running a business, or other people who are coaches. We
Mm.
have that common ground to talk about. I do have a bunch of posters of my favorite heroes right here, right?
Okay, Marvel fan. Look at
Right.
that.
So I'm a Marvel fan. I've got back here. I've got the DC comics, and then on the
I
shelf
some
I have
figures, some action figures.
stormtroopers and whatnot.
Are
Yeah,
those action figures? Yes.
those
No.
are action figures. So let me zoom to that.
Ah, right. Yes. Love
Yeah,
those.
since I'm
Yeah.
still on the camera, it's not
Yeah, it's not
focusing over there.
focusing. But no, but we can
Okay,
see it.
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
So that's what happens when you have a personality background. The people connect with your personality.
Mm-hmm.
We can be selling all day what we sell, but if people don't like us, trust us, they're not gonna buy from us, because people. Here's the funny thing: people love to buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
I
just don't like to be sold.
yeah. Yeah.
They just don't like to be sold. They love to buy, because guess what? What are we doing on Amazon? There was $4 billion worth of sales happen on Amazon
Every
last
day.
year on Black Friday.
People are buying every day, every day, every day.
In China, people spent $144 billion on that same day,
Oh my
because
God.
people love to buy. We love to buy. We love to spend money. That makes us happy. We just don't like to be sold at.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
agree. I like that. I
those are
like
the
I'm
five
gonna
things,
remember that
man.
one. I'm gonna remember that one. Thank you. That was amazing. So captivating story,
Yes.
intentional lighting. See if I'm learning, as if I'm a good student.
Mm-hmm.
Uh then captivating story, intentional lighting, good proper sound, which is most important than a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have to have a good camera, a
Yes.
decent one, and most of us do
Have
have
those
an
cameras.
excellent camera in the back of our phones. Some of them have even
Exactly.
more than one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And the last one, but not the least, the background. I have a question for us to wrap up. It's a
Yes, of
question
course.
that just popped in here. What do you think about this new thing that Zoom does that would blur the whole background so that you can hide your cluttered bedroom or whatever. What's your opinion? Because we just talked about a good background to connect with your audience, being
Right.
relatable. What do you think about people just erasing the whole thing out?
So there's multiple things around it, right? So number one, when the pandemic hit, there was a lot of people that had to show up on Zoom, and maybe they were in spaces where they didn't want to show off the
Mm-hmm.
personality, like kids and students. Well, they're
Right,
using virtual background because maybe they're not in the best of homes,
right. Yeah,
right? So
I
it's
get
a
it.
privacy feature.
I get
So
it.
absolutely, I mean, it's there for people so that you can be comfortable on being on camera.
It's an
For
option.
us, it is an option for you to get good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But as the people that we are coaches, we are in front of camera, we're teaching people. We got to be comfortable so that our people that we're talking to are comfortable. We got to open up. Like, hey,
Yeah,
this
I
is
like that.
me. I'm out here in the savannah. I'm out here. Blah blah blah. You're telling your story because that's what they connect with.
Yeah, I
That's what
agree.
they connect
I
with.
agree. It's an option for those who need to hide, like maybe people working in the background, family
Yeah,
members. But if
yeah.
you don't have to hide it, then it's better to connect
You got, yeah,
using your
yeah.
fifth.
You got to level up. Yes, you got to level up to that level, right? If you're just starting out and you're just very scared because public speaking, this is public speaking 101.
It is.
99% of the people in the world would rather die than do public speaking,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So it's very hard.
They'll be better off in the casket rather than doing the eulogy, right?
Yes, sir.
That's one
Yes, sir.
opening from sci-fi many years ago.
There
He
you
says
go.
that, yeah, you're better off in the coffin in the casket rather than doing the eulogy.
Exactly.
Oh, so this is amazing. This has been super nice, Junaid. Where we can find you so we can learn more about what you do.
Absolutely. So if you're looking to level up and understand how you can get a better studio setup, you can check out my site over at homestudiomastery.com. I also have a podcast.
Homestudiomastery.com. Okay.
You can ask Siri to play Hacks and Hobbies podcast, and they'll play the latest episode.
Oh,
And
super
yeah,
nice. I like that. So
Siri or Google. Yeah,
I'm gonna put the links down here so you guys
perfect.
can read it. It's gonna be there, and it's probably there now while you're watching it. And today, thank you so much for taking the time to give us this whole amazing explanation about your world, what you do, and what we can learn from your experiences, your wins throughout your journey. Loved it. Loved it so much. Thank
Absolutely.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Jack. Appreciate it.